family. How everybody doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're gonna be talking about complacency. I have Nico here, and I have
Hey,
Devin.
hey, hey, how y'all doing today? So, just to jump right into it, why this topic is interesting to me is because a lot of people feel like they can't achieve certain things because they get complacent. And I'm gonna just recite a quick quote from Thomas Edison. He said, "Show me a thoroughly satisfied man, and I'll show you a failure." But basically, he said, discontent is the first necessity to progress. Show me a thoroughly satisfied man, and I'll show you a failure. And why I resonate with that quote is because, everybody going through life's transactions and letting society affect them on how that people perceive what the American dream is opposed to creating the American dream. You feel me? Like if we left
Yeah,
it in the hands of other people to dictate our future. You know what I mean? We'll be in debt, getting a house to live in it, and paying our college tuition, our kids' college tuition, have them going debt. You know what I mean? So ultimately, when I say complacency, I mean you got to thrive for what you want in life. You can't be complacent to society's standards or what they feel the American dream is. You got to create your dream.
yeah, yep. That's exactly what it is. And shoot, really being complacent, I think really it stems from not having goals because some people don't even have goals, and if you don't have goals and you're not constantly trying to achieve them, then you're gonna be led astray. You're gonna be led down a different path. There's no goals. You don't even know what you're doing, so you kind of get into this habit of doing the same thing every day over and over and over and over. Working your 9 to 5 or whatever you do, going home, watch TV, whatever. And it's because one, you don't have goals. So if you can set a goal, then it makes you not be complacent because you got to work hard in order to achieve that goal. And also you have to increase your own standards because some people, their standards are too low for themselves. So if you increase your standards and you increase what you want for yourself, you're gonna have to strive, and you can't be complacent. To In order for you to achieve that, you can't be complacent. Um, so that's my take on it.
Yeah, I agree. Uh,
What?
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
to elaborate, you wanna add on to it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, complacency is like, I mean, it's hard to even realize it though, too, sometimes. Like, you can really, like, when things are just like, when you're content with everything around you and you achieve your goals and whatever goals those are, that's when you got to sit there and let go of your complacency and keep striving for bigger and better things. Keep being persistent in life, no matter what your goals are. I think it's very important to let go of complacency in life, especially if you want to elevate yourself and grow mentally and financially, whatever you choose to grow in. You always have to keep moving and keep being consistent. If you're complacent and you're content with what you have around you, you're just going to be stuck in that same point.
Yeah. I agree. I kind of want to add on what y'all was saying. So, as far as people being aware of complacency, that's the first. That's the first key to success. But the second step would be trying to find ways to avoid complacency. And one thing that I noticed is that regardless to where you are at in the world or what field you do, success leaves clues. No matter if you're a real estate billionaire, a tech billionaire, or a politician, success leaves clues is just a common duality amongst all successful people. And one thing I noticed that the majority of successful people have is like a routine, like like a morning routine, like a ritual. And even if it's like waking up an hour earlier just to turn on a podcast to do a few push-ups in the morning just to mentally prepare yourself. You feel me? um, that's the first step because once you start training yourself with like habits, it all correlate to you like the small things in life. Like you'll have more strength. So sometimes you gotta feed your body and you gotta feed your spirit as far as like just mentally. So I feel like if you allow other things to dictate you, you won't have that mental strength to prevail in life. You gotta build that. That's like a learned trait. Success is most definitely a learned trait, but you gotta build it. You can't just assume that you know that it's gonna come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I agree with that. Does anyone have like some, I guess, like a list or some type of list of things where people could do, if they feel stuck or if they feel in a slump, or if, or some things they could do, to get it going, to get out of complacency.
I say that the morning ritual, like to each his own. You feel me? Everybody got their own morning ritual, but
Hmm.
something I thought was unique, and this one person I can't reiterate who the person was or where I heard it from, but they said that in the morning they write down like 10 positive things about themselves, or they write down 10 most important goals they want to accomplish that day. Sometimes it's just the idiosyncrasy things of life, like just the most smallest things that carry on long term. And another thing to elaborate on as far as complacency is that sometimes when you set a goal, you don't just set this is my 5 year goal. You set a month goal, you set a 2 week goal, a week goal, a today's goal. So you gotta like make baby steps to get to your ultimate goal. But one thing about success, when you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're not gonna see the results until you look back. You feel me? So while you're
Yeah.
doing it, you're gonna be frustrated. But only and ultimately a year from that period where you stop trying to be complacent, then ultimately you're gonna see the results. Like, dang, I came far. So that's one of
Yeah.
my ideas.
Yeah. I think also, with uh getting out of complacency, I think is very important to get around people who, are striving, and people that aren't complacent, because then they're going to push you. Because sometimes, we're in an environment where people are complacent, and that could get a hold on you, where you become complacent because that's what you see every day, that's what's around you. And
Mhm.
it's important to get in different environments where you see people, you know um striving to do something better, trying new things, continuously learning. Because we touched on this, but a lot of people like to be entertained rather than educated, and being entertained, that's gonna keep you complacent, because you watching these shows and stuff like that, and it's not doing anything for you. Yeah, it's
Hey,
entertaining. Yeah, it's getting you stimulated, as far as entertainment, but
hey, cousin, I don't
it's
mean to
keeping you
stop you.
complacent.
I don't
Yeah.
mean to cut you off. But I was gonna say, because I really didn't want to lose my train of thought. But it was,
Yeah.
I was gonna say, sometimes people acquire knowledge and never use action. So that's big
Yeah.
too. Like what you saying,
Yeah.
like you got to reinforce your way of thinking. But if you acquire all this knowledge and never put it into action, then it's a waste of your time.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is it
What do you
true?
think?
That is
What do you
true.
think, Devin? Yeah.
That's very true because you can retain a ton of knowledge out there, but a lot of people just lack in action. Like just making that one small step each day. Like instance, you're talking about like a morning routine, just having like a morning routine each day. For instance, like what I do, I set a goal. I set goals each day to accomplish the certain goals that day, so I know I'm progressing each and every day. And it's like just having something like that, and the small things matter. And when people just have all this knowledge, and you could have all this knowledge and know all these things, and then you never set any goals, never had a routine to move on the knowledge, to take action and make the things become like make it become relevant.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of people don't do that, and I feel like that's where people got to start. You know, taking charge in their life. Start just take action. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing is, people, you have to challenge yourself, because as human beings, it's what we do. Like, we don't like to challenge ourselves. We like to take it easy. We go with the path of least resistance. But you gotta overcome that, because the path of least resistance is what everybody else is doing, and that's how you become complacent. you have to, you have to branch yourself out from that, and you have to challenge yourself, set new expectations, and try to hit them. Because you get a fulfillment in the pursuit of doing something, the pursuit of achieving something. If you don't have that, that's where a lot of people turn, to using drugs and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. But that's not the only case where people use it. But a lot of people do fall into that category when they don't have anything that they're pursuing. So the drugs become the high for them. The drugs become the dopamine. But you can get that dopamine, the same one, from setting goals and achieving them and not staying complacent. So I just want to touch on that too.
Feel that.
Yeah,
Feel that.
that's
Yeah.
real. Man, I was about to say something. I forgot what I was about to say.
Oh
Oh
man.
yeah, man, dang, it's like it's there, but it's gone.
Yeah.
Y'all,
Yeah.
if I figure it out, I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna let y'all talk. I gotta think. What was I about to say?
Yeah, that's real.
That's funny.
Dang. Y'all can continue. I can't think of it. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I really, sometimes you gotta look at other people too to get that inspiration and get that motivation. Cause like I see Devin. He posts videos every day. Speaking to his followers and supporters on Instagram. Giving them knowledge, and that really inspires me to keep doing my things. That's why it's important to surround yourself with other people. Like Nico, he has so many different skills and talents and stuff, and once when you see that stuff, then it makes you want to get on your grind. It makes you want to work even harder. So I appreciate these two gentlemen. They really push me to do better
Yeah,
and not to be complacent.
Yeah,
and vice versa.
and you're right. Having people like that around you is like important, and like what you watch is important.
Mhm.
Like if you have people that are like, for instance, I was talking to a mentor, and he was telling me, he's like, it's good to have people above you, uh, below you, and at the same level.
Mm,
Um, and this is like in an instance, it's just mentally, whatever you want to, financially, whatever you put it, whatever you want to think about it as.
Mhm.
But when you have somebody above you, they're gonna ultimately lift you, like elevate you. You're gonna see what they're doing great, um, what they do each day, or what stories they have, what lessons or knowledge they have, and then you can put it towards yourself and put it action in your life, and it'll help you elevate and keep you moving. And then when
Mhm.
you have people near you that are on the same level and the same hustle,
mm,
those people kind of it's like, it's not really a competition,
yeah.
but it's like subliminal. It's like, not
Mm,
subliminal, but it's like subconscious. And
Yeah.
yeah.
it's like it kind of gives you that little push to be like, all right, I gotta go. There's somebody right here. He's at this level. Like, I gotta keep pushing. And then the
Yeah.
people below, like, it's not like looking down on people, but
Mm,
like, just they're just not in the same frequency.
yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
Teaching those people with that knowledge, like the knowledge you have, passing it down, and giving people knowledge, and just pretty much just helping them will ultimately elevate yourself too.
Mm,
Because it's one of the best methods of learning is teaching someone else, is
yeah.
Yeah.
giving some knowledge to someone else.
Yeah.
Mm,
I heard that same ideology from Ty Lopez. I think he called it the 33% rule. Like when you give your time to those three categories, 33% of your time to those three categories. But
mm,
I remember what I was gonna say. Basically, I was gonna say as far as like some people feel like these goals or these things are unobtainable, so they fall in the line of complacency. Um, it's not unattainable. It just takes for you to do it. Some people may be
yeah.
like, "Oh, I want to start this." Don't say you're going to just do it and figure it out along the way. You feel me?
Yeah.
And one example was when Bill Gates had I forgot the company, but it was when they was Bill Gates and Paul Allen went to I think they went to Kentucky as far as the computers when before when Bill Gates I think he just dropped out of college when they got their first computer bid, but they didn't know what they was doing. They was just lying. They learned along the way. They didn't know. You feel me?
Yeah.
So they didn't tell a dude like, oh, we don't know what we doing, or we don't have nobody else outside of us two working. They just kept it pushing and learned along the way.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best thing to do, for any goal, or even if exercising, just even if you just do
Yeah.
10 push-ups, just start and don't make excuses, make adjustments, just start.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Making the adjustments. Yeah. Just starting. Because you always hear people saying, like you say, you always hear people saying, "Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. Oh, I want to get my body in shape. I want to make this much a year. I want to do this, I want to do that." But you don't see anybody putting in the work. So you just hear a bunch of talking, and talking not gonna get you anything.
It's not.
So
It's really
Yeah.
not. You can have
yeah,
you can have great ideas, and just like people have probably thought $1 million ideas and just
facts.
never put them to action. They'd have
Yeah,
probably
Yeah.
worked, but they just never just took that one step to be like, all right, I'm gonna go buy an email, not to buy an email. I'm
Mm.
gonna go set up an email. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
buy a domain.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna go
That's
set
all
up a
it
little
takes.
social media account. Oh,
That's
next
it.
all right, I'm gonna go buy a business license. It costs like 200, $300.
Mm.
Oh, now they got a business, but like people don't realize that those small steps that'll probably take you like an hour.
Mm.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy, but I that's why I've been kind of like posting a lot of videos. It's just still like I don't it's not really I don't really care who watches it. If someone gains something off it, that's awesome. That's my main
Mm-hmm.
goal.
yeah.
Um, but like for instance, I posted some videos on all right, how to network. I was talking about networking,
Oh yeah,
and it was just like it's just like that's another thing of taking action. Like for instance, right now I'm trying to network so I can find a mentor to ultimately elevate myself,
Mm-hmm.
and learn even more and put that forth towards my life. And
yeah.
the only way I know right now is networking, and networking has been pretty successful for me.
Hmm.
And by
Yeah.
just taking the action of like simply taking like instead of talking to someone else during the day, I sit there and be like, all right, I need to talk to people that are going to get me towards my goals, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe put that energy into a text, sending it out to someone random, but you never know what could happen. And
That's
next thing you
it.
know, they reply, or just like
Mm-hmm.
kind of just really going out of my way and taking the steps to network with someone in multiple different ways and creating a different outcome in life, I
And,
guess you
and
could
Yeah.
say. And I think like just taking the action, and
yeah.
it's crazy what could happen.
How long does that take too? Just to send out a text or email.
It takes like 2 minutes, man.
Exactly. That's
two
it. Two
minutes of your
minutes.
time, and you don't even got to think about it. Like you send a message, and they probably won't respond. They might not respond for like a day or
Mm.
a couple
Yeah.
hours, right? But
Yeah.
they if
Yeah.
they hit you up, you in a better spot than you were before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So I,
if they don't, you're in the same place.
yeah.
Like you didn't lose. You didn't lose anything. And
Yeah.
that's like honestly one of the greatest things that right now I think that we have are these phones. Like we're able to connect with people anywhere in this world.
Yeah.
We have so many opportunities just with our phone. And
Yeah.
it's like 2 minutes of your day, you could probably spend 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes of the day and hit up at least 5, 6 random people that, maybe follow you on Instagram or are in some Facebook group. And then take just 20 minutes, 10, 20 minutes out of the day, hit them up, say, hey, I can provide this for you, or hey, I'm looking for this, and mate, can you help me out? And just asking the question, take it 10 minutes a day, and you never know what they could say. They could be like, yeah, I can help you out. I got this, and maybe we could do something together and build something. Like 10 minutes a day probably could change your life. And
Yeah.
I think that's
I
a
got.
crazy thing. It's like, just, for instance, we're talking about taking action instead of being complacent. Like, just the simple things, like a 10-minute change in a day will change your life. If you could do it consistently and keep doing it.
Yeah, as far as going back to acquiring the knowledge, so one of my ideologies of life is that if you can understand history, you can predict the future. So as far as the networking, I remember watching a documentary on Sean Kingston, and Sean Kingston, this was back MySpace days. He
Sean
was email
Kingston.
he was emailing this person. I forgot the producer name, but he emailed him every day, like 100 times a day, every day until he responded once, right? And then
Yeah.
mind you, I seen that, and then I did the same thing to the director, 106 in Park at the time. His name was Pat Charles. So I emailed him every day, just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste every day, like 100 and some times a day for 2 weeks
Perseverance.
until he responded and said, "Come to New York and audition." And then mind you, another case, I was watching like a little interview with Ty Lopez, and he was basically saying it was this dude who was doing some field. He was like in bankrupt, but he wanted to manage Elvis Presley. So he was calling Elvis. No, he wanted to take him on the road or something. So he was calling his manager every day for a year, enthusiastic every day. The same person. He knew who was calling his Elvis Presley manager at the time. Knew it was the same dude. He kept calling every day until he was like, you know what, you want to take him on the road? We need $1 million. So then he ended up finding $1 million, and he ended up managing him and some other people. But it's just that consistency. And even if you're not in a position to where you financially fit or have the knowledge to go further than where you want to go, it just take that first step of doing it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a fact. You know, like that. You're also saying like persistence too, man. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like I mean, you can learn as much knowledge as you can, like as you want, but like you really learn when you're in it. Like you learn when you say like adjust as you go. You're
yeah,
learning at that moment. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can skip the learning curve from a mentor, right?
yeah.
But like ultimately, what even if you get into it and you have a mentor, you're still gonna make a mistake. But that mistake is a blessing because you're gonna learn from that. If you have the
Yeah.
right mindset, it's gonna just elevate you. You made a mistake, and now you're like, all right, I'm gonna keep it going.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's persistence.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on like also, a lot of people could be thinking of complacency as, financially, but it goes back to the three areas that I always think of in life, which is like relationships, health, and financial. So like, you can be in one area like financially, you making all this money, but look at your marriage, look at your kids, you know what I mean? Like you're not spending any time with them. So you can get complacent. Look at your health. You're not working out every day. So you can get complacent in any one of those three areas. But, I would say to try to maintain a good rating in all three of those areas financially, health wise, relationships with your kids, your spouse. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just one thing where you can become complacent. It's these three categories. So you got to work on all three of them and make sure they up to par. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people think about it financially, but it's not always just financially. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. I feel that. I feel
Yeah.
that.